going on, people? My name is Mike, go by Mr. Fuzz out of Empire Edibles. Here, we called in to make some medicated brownies. You have medicated brownies that actually sit right now at about anywhere from 125 to 175 milligrams per brownie, per serving. You have activated flowers top shelf inside of the actual cake's buds itself, and it's based with coconut oil that's also been infused with cannabis. All right, you got unbleached flour, unsweet, semi-sweet chocolate chunks, medicated weed coconut oil. I use coconut oil base instead of, it's a little bit more healthier than the olive oil. The base of what was grounded up to make the medicated oil actually, which is grounded up flowers, about maybe 3 different top shelf flowers. Vanilla, walnut, brown sugar, regular white sugar. I like to mix them both, give you a little bit of different flavor. First step is we're gonna go ahead and double boil the chocolate to melt it down. I don't usually make anything out of a box, so we'll go ahead and start off by weighing out the chocolate. Need about 1 ounce, 28 grams. Mixed in with about maybe 2 ounces to 2.5 ounces of coconut oil, medicated coconut oil. Got about 28 to 30 grams in on top. So you got, there you go, about maybe 2 ounces, 2.5 ounces. Mix in and then double boil. While this melts down and makes the chocolate actually into a creamy material, we mix in the other things. Don't put the chocolate or the oil onto directly to the flame so you won't burn it. About 15, 20 minutes. Keep an eye on it and you gotta mix it up at the same time. So you got about 1 cup flour, 4 eggs, while at the same time keeping an eye on your stove that you don't burn your chocolate. 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Sweeteners onto your preference, but I usually do about 1.5 cups of white and 1 cup of brown. They say 1 tablespoon of vanilla. You go by. And then just mix. You get the idea from the base. It's already looking a little clean and crumpy. Me personally, I don't like it that thick because we're not making a cake, we're making brownies. So what I'll add in is a little bit of milk, depending on what you like to choose. Me personally, cookies and cream. Nobody expects cookies and cream. Hershey's cookies and cream. Like I said, everybody else expects you put regular whole milk or nah. You're gonna make for the taste buds for everybody else, right? And then that makes the consistency of the material a little bit less denser and more able to work with. Mix again, getting it all incorporated. I'm sure everybody wondering, when do I put in the dry bud? Now, put it in last, just to make sure it doesn't mix in with the flour and clump up. Stick it at the end of the base. You're gonna have maybe some stems, but of course they come from top shelf flowers, so you ground them up in your hands. The reason why it looks moist, the flowers itself, the bud, was because this was the flowers used inside of the oil to extract the THC off of the plant into the oil. So what I do, instead of throwing it away or discarding it, I mix it in with the flour, with the actual cake. So you get a little more bang for your buck and sits inside of your stomach a little bit longer. And I do by eye, but you're getting more than at least 2 grams to 3 grams of flowers that's already activated. That must keep in mind. This bud has been decarboxylated, if I'm saying it right. Batter still looking a little thick. Well, it's all right. It's not the consistency of what cake would be, but it's almost there. You know what I do? Throw some more milk. And I'm not ODing with it. You're not seeing me go ahead and pour a whole cup, nah. I'm only splashing a little bit on top, just to work away the sugar and to make it still manageable to work with. Just a little Pam spray on top. I use the baking powder one and not the butter one. Gives a little bit, you know, you're baking with it. You're not trying to cook anything, so I use the flour one. And while doing this, you got the consistency as you see. It's thick, but it's not fudge-like and it's not cake-like. That's in the sense of doing this in room temperature. You do this by an open window, anywhere cold, it's gonna get thicker, it's not gonna let you be able to pour, it's gonna be just a mess to work with. Less than 1 inch, about maybe 1 inch, if so you don't have them overflow. But remember, these are supposed to be fudge brownies type, so they should stay, they shouldn't raise over the top of actually where you're pouring. compared to a cake batter, which will go over the top of, say, the pan or the rim itself. Well, the oven's preheated at about 360 for 15 minutes. Keep the oven nice and warm. And then just slide them in. You got about maybe a good 15 to 25 minutes in the oven. Come back and check them. Make sure until you can toothpick them or fork them until they're done. You can see they're dried in the middle and not creamy. And you're good to go. So it's been about maybe 20, 25 minutes they've been inside of here. Again, they don't look like your average brownies, but you can smell them and you know that, well, we can smell them and we know they're done. Should cool off inside of the pan for about another 5-10 minutes so they won't stick to the pan. And then after that, you'll be good to go. I tell people how to eat it once at a time. Do not sit there and think that you're a big boy or big girl with big boy pants on and feel that, hey, it ain't gonna do nothing. I got a tolerance over yada. No. Take a bite, take 2 bites, sit back, relax, and chill. People can find me and look at me and ask me any questions at Empire Edibles or at empireedibles.com@gmail.com.